Alright, real quick here. I'm going to record a quick reaction video. I don't expect a huge reaction to this whole thing, but I did want to watch this trailer, and I'm very excited. I've been waiting for this announcement, the GTX 1080. Everyone knew it was going to be called the GTX 1080, but I want to see what package is nVidia putting together to sell the GTX 1080. I already know what the GTX 1080 is capable of, but I haven't seen any visual demonstration of it. So, will this trailer for the GTX 1080 deliver as far as selling me on the card? Now, when I build my new PC for PC gaming and PC gaming streaming, as well as for you guys on YouTube, I will be putting a 1080 in it, regardless of how exciting this video is or isn't, but I wanted to watch it for the first time with you all. So let's get the trailer started. All right. Um, well, from what I could tell, let me get this going here. There were some parts in the trailer that just had words. So it's got the Pascal architecture, which is just a code name for a new architecture. I've been hearing a lot about this, already knew what it was going to be. Very excited about it. What this mainly means is it's going to be a lot more power efficient while providing extra power. So you are going to be able to run more cards easier if you want to run a dual card setup. It's not going to be as power demanding. You still want to get a good power supply, but that is good because if they can do it, if they can get the power down, then that just means Intel HD graphics are only going to get better. But this is top of the line stuff, which I'll get into a little bit more in a second here. So as I go forward, it's going to change the words right here. Alright, we'll stop it right there. Alright, so, that looks a little choppy there. Let's see. So let me see if I can make this bigger for you guys. There we go. So it is the first 16 nanometer GPU. That's basically what the architecture is all about. It's shrinking the die, getting everything that you need for your performance using less amount of die. But the thing that I like about this slide right here is if you look at the bottom line right there, it says 2,560 cores. Those are CUDA cores. They help with 3D rendering. They provide more power to the GPU, and they also help in other things like they can come in handy for certain 3D rendering and video editing applications. So that's really cool right there. I don't know if it's going to go into something, but let's see what's going with the slides. I'll mention it if it's no, it should show. It's a pretty big deal in my opinion. Alright, so right there it's got G5X memory. That is GDDR5X memory. That's still GDDR5. It's just like, it's kind of like when DDR3 became DDR3L. It was more low profile, but was more efficient as far as providing enough bandwidth for what it needed to be doing. And it looks like, I don't really understand the term frame buffer, but it looks like we're going to be getting 8 gigabytes of this DDR5X memory on the card. That's what I'm hoping that means. And the GTX 980 Ti had 6. The GTX 980, just a regular 980 like this card, had 4. So this is doubling the 4 GB buffer that the previous generation card had. So maybe we'll see 12 GB Ti cards. Maybe they'll. I honestly think the Ti cards will still be 8 GB. I don't think they're going to push. Also, they also announced the GTX 1070. Be very aware if you're going to go for the lower priced route. The GTX 1070 doesn't come with GDDR5X memory. It comes with GDDR5 standard memory. So maybe I'm wrong, but I honestly think you're better off getting a 970 if you're thinking about getting a 1070. I wouldn't believe too much hype on extra performance with the 1070 over a 970. It's probably going to be better performing, but considering it doesn't have the updated memory, and I don't think it's worth spending the extra amount of money. You're better off just getting a 970 in that case, in my opinion. And then it says 10 gigabits per second. I'm either gigabits or gigabytes. It's all caps, so it's hard to tell. So that looks pretty cool. I don't really know how that'll play in real world tests. We continue. I thought this was cool. I didn't know about this. Can I help you? Okay. This is a vapor chamber cooling. I've seen this in some new components. What's that?
Something I'm gonna throw at you.
No, don't throw anything at me. Okay.
Keep going.
All right.
Laugh like that in real life, Grant.
Okay, so, all right, the throwing has been done. Okay, so I've seen this vapor chamber cooling in some new products. I think it's just gonna. No, that's just cruel. You shouldn't throw dogs. If anyone would have saw that, they would have reported you. All right. Wow. Okay, so I think it'll just offer better cooling. So, this right here, putting a big push on the 4K at 120 hertz DisplayPort and HDMI. I think this is basically them. Actually, I'm going to go into this a little bit more in a second, but because I just noticed something in this picture. But I think that this card isn't going to be a guaranteed 4K solution as far as PC gaming goes, but I think it's going to be a lot more successful. I've heard many success stories with using just a Titan X to play 4K gaming on PC. I don't think that's completely true. I think that the Titan X probably struggles at some point. So my audio might have been shitty there for a second. I'll go back to the video and see. Hopefully not. I reset the audio repeater for my VAC virtual audio cable, so hopefully it doesn't go crazy again. Hopefully it's not too bad where it did freak out. Okay, so another thing I noticed, what I said I noticed in the picture was, if you look at the inputs there is a DVI, an HDMI, and 3 display ports. That is new. That is actually very good news, because 3 display ports is more intriguing in my opinion as far as pushing that 4K gaming experience. And then of course HDMI. Now that HDMI 2.0 can deliver 4K, that's good news right there. But this is definitely pushing away from DVI, as we saw in previous generations when they slowly removed the VGA connector, the blue one. It's been so long I forgot what it was called. Alright, so I think it's only a matter of time before DVI is completely eliminated. It's still pretty standard, but I don't look for monitors with DVI anymore. I look for monitors with HDMI. It's a much more convenient port in my opinion. I would like to see a port that's reversible, similar to USB-C. because sometimes when I can't see shit behind my computer, I get really annoyed and I have to get my phone flashlight on just to plug something in. Alright, my audio is going crazy. It hasn't gone crazy like it did earlier, but I'm a little worried. Alright, so we're going to continue here in slides. I don't know if there's any more slides. Oh, yes, this is the last slide that showed I will take perfected. So I didn't see it mentioned in here. The thing that I was talking about that I think is very exciting is what it can be clocked at. I believe it can be clocked at, I'm going to look it up right now actually, so I'll leave that open. Let me do a quick Google search. It's pretty high. It's like 2700 megahertz, but that's like overclocked. And I'll give you some comparisons here. Alright, so hopefully this doesn't have any ads on it. Alright, so the GTX 1080 and 1070 are both 256-bit buses. I don't know what's going on with the nVidia GP100, but that claims to be a 4096-bit bus. I believe that is just a prototype card that they're using to develop this line of graphics. The 1070 is going to give you 2048 CUDA cores. The 1080 is going to give you 2560 CUDA cores. Honestly, if you're looking for CUDA cores, you're not really going to feel too much of a difference there. CUDA cores aren't super revolutionary where they just provide this excellent power to push your 3D rendering and all that good stuff. There's also some audio plugins that have taken advantage. My audio once again went nuts. Seeing if there's anything I can change in my settings. It's because I have multiple windows open, so it's not liking me very much. Let's see. Compared to the 980, the 980 and the 1070 have the same exact amount of CUDA cores as where the GTX 1080 has a little less than 300 CUDA cores compared to the 980 Ti and 512 CUDA cores less than the Titan X. Again, the Titan X you're probably going to feel a little bit more of a difference, but the 980 Ti you're not really going to feel it. Alright, so the power, I was talking about how you'd be able to run this on lower power. It's going to be a lot easier to deliver. The GTX 980 was a 165 watt power supply, while the 980 Ti was a 250 watt power supply, or power consumption. So the new 1080 is supposedly more powerful than the Titan X, and that was also 250 watt. I'm gonna say that it's not more powerful than the Titan X. It's going to be that GDDR5X. It's gonna make it feel like it's more powerful. On paper, it's more powerful. In the real world, I don't know. We'll see. That trailer didn't really convince me that real world tests are involved with those claims. So for the 1080, 180 watts compared to your 165 watts on the 980. However, if you go down to a 1070, you're only going to use 150 watts, which is very nice. And it looks like the stats I'm looking for are not in this article. All fun. You guys can't see it, but I think I found it. So if there's anything I could add, I believe this article has it. Alright, so this one's interesting. The GPU stats here, when when the GPU stats were pulled up, the GPU was running at 2.1 gigahertz, while the memory inside was running at 5.5 gigahertz, which is pretty nice. You're definitely going to see a performance boost with things like that. If you want stuff like that going on in your version of the card, probably going to want to get a third-party card, not a stock card that says like boosted speeds. This is definitely the article, but I'm not seeing the clock information. That was clock information, but there's something more specific. So now I'm just gonna say it. It's like 2,700 gigahertz, I believe, somewhere in that ballpark. Let's see, 1080. Let's see. Yeah, so it was running at 2.1, and I believe it can be clocked at 2.7. So that article just worded it differently, so it didn't give me an exact numbers there, but the information is supposedly out there. I'm just not sure where. That is going to be it on this trailer breakdown reaction. I will definitely be putting this card in my PC build. When Battlefield 1 comes out, I will be running it on PC and on PS4. Expect a lot more PC gameplay coming out of that, and when the PC rolls out, you'll be seeing a lot more. Oh, here we go. So I'm sorry, I was going to end the video and I found it. 1,607 megahertz base, and it gets boosted up to 1733, and then it gets the actual GPU clocks at 2.1. Alright, cool. So 1700 was the number I was thinking about. 1733. If I go on Amazon right now and I search for, say, a GTX 980 real quick, and I look at the EVGA version to compare that. Okay, so 1700, the 980 boost clock was 1367, so that's quite a big jump. You're gonna notice that the boost you get from that and the memory clock, whatever that's running at, is what's really gonna show your performance change there. So it looks like we're getting quite a jump there. I'd say like a 25% to 50% performance boost over the 980 realistically. So when this card comes out, I will be giving a full-on review. I will be pushing Battlefield 1 to completely ultra settings. I will be plugging that PC into a 4K television. I will try to get my hands on a 4K monitor. I will be pushing this card to see just how good it is. I don't expect it to be able to run these 4K games on ultra settings, but I will be testing it. Alright, thank you. Thank you for checking out this video. I will be doing more tech stuff as well. Gaming, tech, as long as it's related to gaming. And I will tell you how it is related to gaming. Alright, I'm done. Thank you for checking this out. I appreciate it.